is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game. Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hits. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, joy to be with them each and every day. And I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
It is a Monday here inside the Country Financial Studio. Ryan Milano here with you on Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. And we don't have any Oregon football to review. A bye week, which meant it was a work week for Oregon football, as the Ducks went on the road last weekend and got a top 10 victory against Penn State. If the two teams played today, it would not be a top 10 victory anymore, because it was a wild Saturday of college football. And it might be one of those where, just sitting at home from the couch, not having to play this weekend, might be avoiding the chaos and the conflict better off. So, a lot happened over the weekend of college football. Oregon, with a few losses in the early schedule, big announcement means that the Ducks, in another top 10 matchup, will have College Game Day now in Eugene. It is the second time in a row that College Game Day is coming to an Oregon football game, as College Game Day was in Happy Valley for that game between Oregon and Penn State. And now, as the Ducks will play Indiana, College Game Day will be here in Eugene for that matchup, a top 10 matchup again, as the Ducks now number 3 in the country against number 8 Indiana for a 12:30 kickoff on CBS coming up on Saturday, October 11th. It was a shocking Saturday of college football. Thought maybe with Texas, they might be able to have game day go to their place, but for the Red River, however, Florida had different plans. It was another top 10 upset. There were a lot of top 10 upsets. It's the 13th time Oregon will host College Game Day here in Eugene. It is the 8th all-time top 10 matchup in Autzen Stadium, and the first since Oregon and Ohio State faced off in 2024, when College Game Day was also at that game. The Ducks are 20-13 all-time when playing in a game featured by College Game Day, including 9-3 at home. And I've talked about the wacky day in college football on Saturday. And on Friday, there was a lot to be said about the style of coin flip, whether it was a thumb flip or a finger flip. And unfortunately for me, it was a very bad day for the finger flip. I think the finger flip went 1-4. The finger picked Penn State, Wisconsin, Northwestern, Illinois. Northwestern was a thumb flip. The finger picked Penn State, Wisconsin, Illinois, Maryland, and Minnesota. Illinois was the only winner of that bunch. Northwestern and Nebraska were both thumb flips. I don't think that bodes very well for the reputation of the finger flip moving forward, but I will continue to support it. It was a day in which not very many people in picks had the best day, because it was not a very predictable Saturday in college football, despite the fact that it looked like, especially the Big Ten slate early, was going to be pretty chalk. It was not. UCLA certainly had different ideas. So, now going into the next week, it's about With a lot of upsets inside the top 10, inside the top 25, how can Oregon continue to maintain shape and continue to work their way forward? College Game Day coming up this Saturday as Oregon will face off against Indiana at Autzen Stadium October 11th. Next Saturday, the week after, Oregon will head on the road to play against Rutgers. Kick time announced, 3:30 Pacific time, Oregon versus Rutgers, as the Ducks will flock all the way to Piscataway, New Jersey to play against the Scarlet Knights. 3:30 Pacific time, a 6:30 kick time in New Jersey, but 3:30 here in Eugene on the West Coast. Also coming up in Oregon athletics, the Dellinger Invitational is going to start for the cross-country teams. That will be on Friday, October 10th. The Dellinger, the home cross-country meet for the University of Oregon, will start this Friday. It was a weird week of college football. Now we're getting into some of the other fall sports. Tennis was in action. Cross country will be in action this weekend. Oregon soccer played on Friday against USC in a tough battle against the women of Troy. And Oregon volleyball this weekend played up against two different Big Ten schools in their conference home opening weekend. And after a thrilling 5-set victory against Iowa that took a little bit of extra volleyball in set 5 on Friday, Oregon then on Saturday played Ohio State, and you thought, it's not the best start. Ohio State had the lead early in set number 1, but then a service run for Oregon started to change the momentum. The Ducks ended up winning set 1, and then in sets 2 and 3 ran away from Ohio State and the Buckeyes en route to a sweep. Oregon captured 2 victories over the weekend to start conference play at MKA, defending the home court. Trent Kirsten, after the match, he spoke with the media. I was part of that media scrum. I asked him a few questions, and it seems like the message is clear. Yes, Oregon, they're looking to grow. It's a little bit of a transition in the program, but it's not a new era, and this is a Duck team that expects to continue to compete in the conference. And having weekends like this where Oregon beats both of their opponents, one in thrilling fashion, one in dominant fashion, this is the type of expectation that Coach Kirsten has for his program. Him, as well as a student athlete, they met with the media post-game, post-match, breaking down the victory against Ohio State, the sweep to end the weekend. Here is Coach Kirsten.
Yeah, really good response from long 5-setter last night. To be able to come out and execute in a day proves this team is maturing. Okay? We're going in the right direction. We're taking good steps forward. We're not anywhere close to where we want to be. We're going to be hungry when we get in the gym this week. But I thought it was a good step. I thought our environment on back-to-back nights was amazing. Our student section, our pit crew was unbelievable again. Like, they are literally accounting for points because they're getting us a little bit easier serves from the opponent service line, and that's helping us compete at this level. So thank you guys to everyone who came from the pit crew.
Coach, as you move into this new era of Oregon volleyball with a young team, how important is it to set a precedent that when you come into Madison Arena, it's not going to be easy game?
Yeah, I try to be really careful about labeling like a new era because I'm standing on the shoulders of so many amazing coaches that have come before me, and these guys are standing on the shoulders of so many amazing athletes that have played for this program. And so we try to be really respectful of the history that has been established here, and we just want them to be proud of us for how hard we're working, how much we're going to make progress through this season and into next year.
Coach, you mentioned the 5-set win last night. Just what was your messaging coming off of last night into today, and did you feel like your team responded to that short turnaround to start out this match?
Yeah, I started last night with telling them, hey, stoked for you guys stoked for us. Time to go home and sleep. Okay, I bought them breakfast this morning. That was probably the next step. That was really exciting for them. We got IHOP, so that was cool, And then it was just all about trying to reset and recover for our match today. Okay? And I thought they did a great job of that. And we had a walkthrough with Coach Rad this morning, video prep, and they came out and executed at a pretty good level. Ohio State, man, especially number 19, does some things. Like, she's a phenomenal player for them, and she caused a lot of stress in those 3 rotations. And so, hats off to them. I think they're going to continue to get better this season.
Natalie, for you, what are some of the challenges as a player of bouncing back that quick after what is an emotional win like that last night?
I think a big challenge for us as a team is how we're going to stay united, making sure that we take what we didn't do well yesterday and really bring it today and make sure that we, as a coach, like he's pushed, really coming together mid-play, making sure we stay together and just really pushing forward. I think that's what we've been working on a lot in practice, and just and that's why you see us like we're really celebrating for each other. We're very external. Being outward has helped us as individuals and as teammates. So kind of just bringing that from last night and just executing it to a much higher level today.
Coach, how do you feel like the team responded after the first set? Initially, Ohio State has momentum early, then your team takes over and really captures that momentum for the rest of the match. Just how did you feel like your team captured that momentum, and what did you feel like was different from your team outside of that early portion of set 1?
Gosh, like as a coach, you try not to go, oh boy, here we go again. Here goes a set that we're just going to not be very good in. And then I think Cora got us on a great service run. And she's been a little bit up and down with her consistency. And so she got us going twice in that first set when we were struggling and got us back in it. And then I think Val had a nice service run as well. And so just goes back to the theme of this year is when we apply service pressure, and when we out of system set really well, we're going to keep coming up with a few more blocks, a few more digs here and there. And hopefully we keep improving the quality of those. And that'll lead to us being a great team. But we're not exactly in that space yet. So I thought, in general, the response was good. We didn't blink for a second. We had belief the whole time.
Can you talk about the impact of Holly McFadden? Had 6 blocks yesterday, 7 blocks today, just what she provides to the net?
Talk about Holly's growth and what she's been forced into the fire about learning this position at this level and coming out and executing on a high level. She's the first person to text me each week, like, hey, when can I come in for 10 minutes of video with you? How can I maximize my 20 hours that I get this week? And she, for a freshman, she is taking such ownership of her own development right now, and I'm so proud of her for that. And then when you have like some performances like this, we have to celebrate them.
From a confidence standpoint, going 2-0 in a weekend in Big Ten play, for both of you, what does that mean moving forward? And from a confidence level, that you can compete in this league and you can get wins consecutively over the course of the weekend?
I think following our 2 matches in the Big Ten, this weekend we knew we had to bring it. We're at home. We're in our environment. We have to show our fans that we love this game and that we're going to stay dedicated just like how we're supposed to in this Big Ten, And coming into like the next couple of games where we know we can perform and we know exactly like how we play in certain situations, and just gaining that experience over and over again, we're going to be a very strong team in the Big Ten.
I don't want us to get too high or too low. I just want us to build. That's it. That's the whole message. Everything this year is about building. You guys, along with me, are getting to watch this team grow up this year. And that doesn't mean we don't have some seniors that are grown and that are experienced and that have a really good kind of compass of where they need to go with their game and where our team needs to go. But we have so many young athletes on this team, and they're learning how to go to school, how to compete at this level, how to win in some different ways, and the social aspect of the game. How do I impact others when I'm doing it in a positive way? And so you're seeing this team learn and grow this year. It's never going to be perfect. We're going to have off nights. We're going to have nights that we're not good from the service line. But we're also going to have nights where maybe we pull it off that maybe on paper we shouldn't. We're going to have some of those too. And I think that's the exciting thing about this team.
Natalie, how has being part of a younger team with so many players adjusting to college volleyball helped you make that adjustment yourself?
Just seeing people grow around me, like we really push each other every single day. We all know that we're young, and we all know that maybe on paper we're not supposed to win a couple games, but we are showing up every single day, pushing each other, and just seeing how far we can go.
Natalie, on that theme of growth, just for you, as you kind of look, now that we're at around the midpoint of the season, just from where you were on match 1 to now, where do you feel like your growth has come from?
My growth has come from my teammates. They really believe in me back there, and I really believe in them in the front row. So my job is typically just to support my teammates, bringing that energy for them, being external, like that is my role, and I've learned to grow into that, and that is what my team needs, and that's why we performed so well. We were just able to really be external tonight.
There's almost 3,000 fans in attendance tonight. How did that affect the game?
It affected it in amazing, like it was amazing. I think that we've never played in this environment before, and just seeing that people really want to come out and watch us play after maybe we took 2 losses on the road, it really shows that people are passionate for this game as much as we are, and we have to hold ourselves to a standard and just bring it and be external for them.
Coach, won two conference wins after dropping the first 2 conference games. How was the team able to kind of just like get the train back on the tracks and not limit the slide to only 2 games?
Yeah, what if the train wasn't off the tracks? What if we're just watching this team grow up? There's my response. Like, I think this is a really exciting time for this program. We get the rest on the shoulders of so many people who came before us, and I'm just so fired up to get back in the gym with these guys on Monday. I want them to go celebrate this. I think the rest of the team's upstairs doing autographs with the 3,000 people that were in attendance tonight, and so we want to invest in our community. We want to be a part of this. We want to be a bright spot in the fall. Obviously, football's shining real bright right now, and I'm so excited for them too. I think we might get to go to a little piece of a football game next week, so I'm sure we're excited about that. So I'm just excited to be a part of an incredible community. And yeah, maybe the train wasn't off the tracks. Maybe we just struggled a little bit, and we'll get right back on the horse.
Oregon volleyball, they didn't struggle this weekend. That was Coach Trent Kirsten with Natalie Fukumoto after the match, after Oregon swept Ohio State and captured 2 wins over the weekend against Big Ten opponents. On Facebook, Dave Bowden asks, who do you think the guest picker will be on Saturday on game day? Scotty, have they asked you yet? They haven't reached out to Scotty. I haven't gotten an email. I have no idea. I think there's a lot of options, and I think that the more Oregon, first off, the more successful Oregon football players that continue to get put into the NFL, the more great options that Oregon has for a football-related guest picker. But we've seen so many non-football-related guest pickers over the course of time, too. Brett Kreischer, he just performed at Matthew Knight Arena. He has Oregon ties. Maybe it's him. I have no idea. I have no inside information, but that would be my initial vote if I was the person who gets to decide. But I think there's so many great options. So many great options, so many great alumni. Maybe look at Jerry Allen, be guest picker. He'd be really good at it. He does have to prepare for the game, but, you know, he could do it. I think he could do it. We are going to continue to hear a lot more from other programs around the University of Oregon, as well as a spring sport that has a few new coaches, a new pitching coach for Oregon baseball, getting to meet him when we return after this on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs. And for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working in our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA, is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families, and one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
I'm coming home to the place that I remember, back to the land of my first love. Would you spread wide arms for this wayward son? I left my heart.
We're back here in the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano here with you in October, but before we know it, it will be February, and Oregon baseball will be out at PK Park, resuming their season after some really tremendous years under Coach Wazikowski since he's taken over as the head coach here in Eugene. But this season, it'll be a little bit of a new look staff with a new pitching coach for the Ducks. Coming up from San Diego, now here with the Ducks, Matt Florer has had success throughout college baseball, and we've seen Matt Florer coach teams as recently as the regional in 2024 when Oregon played in that same regional down in Santa Barbara, and it was, if you remember, an extra inning first game between the Ducks and San Diego in which Bryce Betcher hit a go-ahead home run in extra innings, and Oregon ended up winning that game 5-4. Logan Mercado was fantastic in that game for the Ducks. Carter Garade won regional MVP as Oregon went on the road and advanced to the Super Regionals in 2024. And now Coach Florer, having produced some really strong talent, is now moving here to Eugene and being a part of Coach Wazikowski's staff. Earlier last week, Joey Mack, he got to sit down with Coach Florer and get to introduce you fans to the new pitching coach, Matt Florer, part of this Oregon baseball staff. Who is he? Let's hear from him.
It is introduction time in the Country Financial Studio. He is Oregon baseball pitching coach Matt Florer. We were just talking about all kinds of different things before we press record. And before I can even let you get a word in edgewise, we have a tradition, Coach. Okay. You have to tell us your 2-minute life story. Okay. I will time you. Perfect. We do not have anybody associated with Oregon baseball on the leaderboard. I think that today is the day that an Oregon baseball representative ends up on the 2-minute life story lifetime leaderboard.
I love it. Challenge accepted.
We've been doing this for how long? At least 5 years. 6, 7 years. Pre-pandemic. Pre-pandemic. This is going back a ways.
Wow.
Probably since like 2019, I think. Yeah. Okay. 2-minute life story of Matt Florer. Go.
I appreciate that. All right. Born and raised Southern California. Grew up in a household that was absolutely raised by mom and dad and 2 sisters. I would say more of a woman household, strengthened, and that I believe kind of has helped me become who I am in terms of the man. And then outside of that, ended up attending Loyola Marymount College.
Yep.
Played for, at the time, head coach Jason Gill, who at one point was here at the University of Oregon.
Shout out to Coach Gill, who was an assistant coach and never coached a game.
That's right.
It's an amazing
Fun
story.
Fact.
Yeah.
Fun fact. Still send him photos, actually, with him wearing the University of Oregon gear. So, still do that.
That's great.
Loved him. Was fortunate enough to then eventually be brought into his staff in a director of operations role. Transitioned into a volunteer assistant role. Then met the most beautiful woman in the world, my wife, when I was at Loyola Marymount on the coaching side of things. She's from Houston, Texas.
Great.
She was out there for school. Lucky enough to transition to then go work for legendary head coach, Coach Rich Hill, who's now at the University of Hawaii. Very fortunate, presented me with the first opportunity in, at the time, a paid assistant job, which is now changed for the better in collegiate baseball. So owe so much to him. While there, met then to this day, my best friend, Coach Brock Ungrich, who is currently the head coach at the University of San Diego, who I was fortunate enough to transition with and work for over these last 4 years. And then pivoting to our life as a family growing with Miss Olivia, who's 3.5,
Nice.
Mr. Grayson, who's 1.5.
Nice.
Family for me is everything. And now all of us up here in beautiful Eugene. So very fortunate to be here.
Minute 51.2. That was good. That was
Thank
good.
you.
See,
Thank you.
It's funny because now I think that baseball players have more of an internal clock with the pitch clock.
I agree.
It used to be that the stereotype of the 2-minute life story, if I can use that word, was quarterbacks were pretty good at it because of the play clock, right? Guards were usually pretty good at it because of the shot clock in basketball. Now, baseball players, particularly pitchers,
I was about to say.
I think
there's an advantage there, even in comparison to the offensive side.
I would agree. Well, and good pitching wins games, right?
Good pitching, and ideally, how quickly can you get off the field?
Right.
Time of possession, not really talked a lot about in terms of baseball and compared to other sports, but
that's true.
How efficient can we be off the field? How efficient we can be with this 2-minute life story?
Keep that pitch count down.
Yes.
Right? Keep
yes.
the pitch
Exactly.
count down.
Exactly.
You mentioned Coach Gill. I'm glad that you brought that up because I've always told fans, like, hey, remember, Jason Gill becomes a head coach, right? Like, he was on the staff at Oregon. There's been very few assistant coaches in the modern era, and Jason Gill is one of them. And I don't know of any other coach that has been on a staff for, like, a full year and not coached a game because that was Oregon's first year when the Ducks were able to practice but not play games during the rebirth of the program.
It is incredible. I also feel very fortunate, even in now present tense with Coach Wazakowski, where in a very unique and beautiful way, we do come from the same family tree.
You do, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
we have of course, the godfather, if we want to call it, whether it's the Augie Garrido, the Coach Horton of the world.
Right.
And so Coach Gill, Coach Wazakowski being, over time close in relationship, I'd imagine that helped a lot in this then transition and lucky opportunity for myself. But it's great because I'm around the field and vocabulary very similar. There are some intricacies that I'm dating myself because I haven't been around Gilly in 8 years.
Right.
Or I'm like, oh my goodness, that is what he said. Or we were joking about it. I believe Coach Horton would go with the hip hip hoorays for birthdays.
Do that, yes.
And I still in my mind, I got even some phone or videos on my phone of Gilly doing the same thing, hip hip hooray. So it's beautiful to be in a new system, in a new location, but there's so much familiarity to how we're able to work together as a staff.
Well, I'd imagine that this factored in then to your decision, but that's what everybody wants to know. How come you chose to come to Oregon?
Yeah, I even Coach has presented that question to me, and I've been very fortunate. First and foremost, the job in which I had at the University of San Diego is so special. Will always remain special, and especially my relationships with Coach Hill on the front end and Coach Ungerich, who I really grew with, who really I look towards as a big brother. Again, over the last handful of off seasons, just due to the success of what we were fortunate to put together, had opportunities, and across the country. And truth be told, it probably rooted with the family first and foremost, as it should.
Yeah.
Where it just didn't feel right at the time, especially with 2 little ones running around. It just wasn't that right moment. And what I will say is that when Coach reached out about this particular job, it was the first time where adamantly my wife was more so, you're silly. She didn't say silly, but you're silly if we don't take this opportunity.
So she had that conversation with you in front of the kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I'm
exactly.
with you.
Yes.
So
yes.
My sons are 3 and 1.
Oh,
so
right there.
We're right there in it. I know exactly what you're talking about with that. That puts a smile on my face. And certainly, like, Oregon has a draw. I'm biased in saying that, right? Like, so I've spent my whole career here. I went to school here, graduated in 2014.
Special.
Yeah, it is special. I mean, I say that all the time. Like, and then the roots start to get real deep with all the big trees.
Yeah, oh
around
yes.
Here. So
yes.
You know what I'm saying. I'm curious too, because in reading your bio, and you talked a bit about this, like, you really grew from every level in collegiate baseball, like being a director of ops. And people have heard me talk about director of operations before. Like, that is a hard job to do. You're trying to take care of so many different people, right? I mean, you know.
It is the most valuable job. And I'm not speaking on behalf of when I was you actually understand that when you move away from that position.
Sure.
But for instance, us being able to have someone like Travis Buck now in that position, it's unbelievable. I mean, his life experience, his baseball experience, that's one thing, but his drive right now in that role, it's tremendous. And I can't imagine in other sports too.
I mean, you're moving so many people, you're feeding so many people, you're coordinating. I mean, it is truly the definition of herding cats, but we say herding ducks. Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
amen.
That's the idea. Matt Florer joining us, learning about Oregon baseball, pitching coach Matt Florer. Are you settled in yet? Do you feel like you're settled in?
Having a lot of friends who were reaching out and congratulatory wishes, and I just would describe to them, it's the truth. The baseball side of it, that transitions, that's easy.
Huh. Yeah.
Baseball's baseball.
Right.
Recruiting is recruiting.
Right.
Luckily, there's a very shiny product to sell, yeah. and most importantly, what coach has been able to do here in the last 5-6 seasons is top notch. Again, a reason of wanting to be a part of this thing, and but it was the stressors of home.
Sure.
It was the stressors of where are we living?
Right.
As you know, preschool.
Yeah.
Okay, we're still, I don't know if there's any potential babysitters out there, but we are still heavily in the market there. I'll plug that.
Nice.
We are still looking there. So again, it's just more of those stressors of figuring that out while then balancing the early mornings or late nights of being a dad first and foremost, and then the work component, which is awesome. It's fun, and but that the transition, and I appreciate you asking, has been good. It's been boxes are cleared out now. Garage, yes. Yeah. Garage mostly cleaned.
That's half the battle.
That is a huge battle.
Yeah, that is.
Oh my goodness.
Half the battle.
That's part one of the conversation with new pitching coach for Oregon baseball, Matt Florer. Talking a lot about family, and I think that's pretty indicative of the way that a lot of these programs here at Oregon orient themselves, particularly the baseball program being that connected piece. I mean, you hear it with football a lot, connection being such a huge piece of it. Being around the baseball program like I am, you see it a lot with Oregon baseball, that connection piece, and especially on sports where you're on the road and you play 3 games on the road, so you have extended periods on the road, it develops really deep-rooted relationships. Family-centric man like pitching coach Matt Florer, I think he'll fit right in just fine. Got a lot more to go in the conversation with him and Joey Mack. Part 2 coming up when we return after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, Toyota Tundra's got heart-pounding horsepower. Tacoma is one rugged ride, and the 4Runner is tough as nails. Truck yeah. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never, ever become a minivan mom. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my head back and come on now. Don't forget to say you will. Don't forget to say yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a Monday here in the Country Financial Studio. A bit of a more laid-back Monday than usual in fall football season because Oregon had their work week this week, which meant that they were out on the practice field continuing to get better. We just weren't able to see it. So instead, we're getting to learn more about so many of the other programs here around the University of Oregon, including Oregon baseball, which has a new pitching coach under its belt. Matt Florer coming up from San Diego. We heard part 1 of the conversation with him and Joey Mack. Part 2 with the new pitching coach for Oregon baseball, Matt Florer.
With your baseball journey, I'm curious, did you always want to be a coach? When did you decide you wanted to be a coach?
Great question. So I'll even date this back.
Okay.
I recall even, when you're in first grade, let's call it, and career day.
Okay, yeah.
So I showed up with my dad's oversized coat, like a suitcase, and then an apple. I wanted to be a teacher, a professor.
Okay.
And then when you get older, you realize, wait a second. Essentially, if you can tie in baseball to teaching, and you're an educator.
Yeah.
And so very fortunate to intertwine something that I obviously had a passion for when I was 6 years old.
Cool.
But now lucky and fortunate enough to do it many years later.
So Dad was an educator.
No, kind of a side story here, which I don't want to offend too many people, but my family is very rooted in, I'll say, the school that's up in the Northwest, just a few hours away.
We understand.
Yeah, very successful. He was on the crew team there and all. I mean, so very rooted up there. And nonetheless, he actually spent time while he was transitioning to eventually the profession that he even currently does, but he was actually part of the assistant coaching staff on the women's crew team.
So there you go.
So there is some type of educational, I suppose, gene to the floor name.
I've talked to a lot of coaches about this, where a coach is just a form of a teacher. Right.
Yes.
And there's a reason that so many, like at the youth level, right, so many coaches are also the teachers that you have in class, right? I mean, we all experienced that growing up. No, that's cool. That's really cool. So you talked about a lot with baseball. You said earlier baseball is baseball. Well, what is baseball to you?
Yeah,
what is
that's
it?
Great.
How do you like to coach it?
Yeah, I think something that is so important and so simplistic is starting even in the evaluation process or the recruiting process is just surrounding yourself with right people.
Yep.
As easy as it sounds, it's at times complex, but making sure that you're surrounding yourself with people that you thoroughly would also enjoy to coach.
Sure.
And I bring that up at times where if I'm unable to connect at that human being level over the phone, who am I to think that all of a sudden that's going to change? And there's different styles of connection.
Sure.
There's different human beings, and that's where the relatability piece comes in, or the adaptability. And so baseball being baseball, well, we're lucky that this game is our vehicle, and we just want to make sure that we're having the right passengers along with the ride.
Cool.
So again, we make it at times way more complex than probably what it needs to be. It's a baseball that we throw, and
don't we all with everything?
Oh, goodness gracious! But again, I think just like life, if we're able to surround ourselves with good people, then typically good things happen.
I'm curious too, because we were just actually talking before we got going about PitchCom, and now that we're a few years into that, like, how has that changed the way that you coach and communicate with your players?
Always trying to tinker, actually.
Really?
So even the logistics of PitchCom,
right?
What, as odd as it is, right? That mind-body connection is silly as it sounds. What are our players listening to in terms of execution of a desired pitch, location, a bunt defense, a first and third defense? How is that being even articulated in this new era of PitchCom, so that something just kind of it just clicks. It clicks. And so I'm tinkering still with vocabulary and again, terminology. But in terms of the game, it's awesome, right? I think that there's so many statistics out there, even at the higher levels, the big league levels, where viewership drastically drops off. I believe it's at like the 2 hour and 40 minute mark. So typical baseball game being 3 hours.
Right.
We're just trying to condense it down to that 2:40 mark.
Right.
So it's nice to have college baseball in that era.
And it's worked. I mean, in my part of it, like when I call baseball games now, it is so much different than when I called and did broadcasts for baseball games 10 years ago. Right?
I believe it.
Oh, yeah. I've realized very suddenly, like, no, I can't tell a story about what a player told me today during this and that because it's suddenly 1-1, and oh, there were pitches thrown just then. It's amazing.
Yeah, I would imagine that also though in a sad way, right? Like you lose a little bit of the Vince Scully kind of style of art telling the story.
Yeah.
Because of the limited time in between.
Now some fans though, like there was one time I will not mention the score nor the opponent, but let's just say the game wasn't going well, and so we decided like, hey, something we haven't talked about before when it's like 20-2 is, in the modern era of Oregon baseball, who's on your Mount Rushmore? Like these things come up for people like me when it's like we got to find some way to keep people around.
Fillers,
right? Yeah, and so in some ways it's nice that, and I've heard from fans that are like, no, just call the game, right? Like it is a constant thing that I even think about, and that to me that's what this show is for, right? Like now we get to have those stories be on a program like this, and then you can just here's the 1-1. That ball's driven deep. Ducks win, right? Like, anyway, it's just it's funny how it has changed so much for the sport, yet the sport is still at its core, I think. I don't know how you feel, Coach, but I think the sport at its core is still the same that we've seen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Again, the pace of play is a great thing for the game.
Yeah.
But it's still a unique game.
Yeah. So context for everybody. Fall practices underway for Oregon baseball. Classes getting going for everybody here around the University of Oregon. Just in general, tell fans a little bit about your off season heading in. What do you want to see throughout the fall practices?
Yeah, I think for better. I'm fortunate enough. We're fortunate enough to come into this thing really with a blank canvas, at least for my eyes. Able to study up film on all of our returners. And
sure.
Get to know our incoming players. Even fortunate enough to be involved in the recruiting process with a handful of those new guys as well. And but there's no set roles. I've told the guys too in a positive way. It's still September. Let's just worry about kind of the process of ultimately just getting better daily, and we'll figure it out from here. So kind of that blank canvas. What I'd like to see is I'd like to see our guys come to the field with that high energy, the positive energy. That's something that, again, it sounds silly, but I've brought up to the guys, like, just make sure you're a good person.
Right.
A good person, and it's our job to help you improve with the baseball skill set. And then as we go through this thing, I mean, we've got some really, really neat stories that are even early. I mean, the first couple weeks really like are transitioning to some really, I believe, special careers, and most importantly, a special season that lays ahead of us.
Cool.
We're excited about.
All right, I have to ask you something because this has been a bone that I've picked with my students lately. Okay, so in another life, I'm a teacher in the journalism program for broadcasting, and I have used a phrase that I thought was pretty common around baseball. My students did not know it, and you seem like somebody that would know this expression. You're either a fountain or you're a drain.
Ooh, good.
They were like,
yes.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
You're either an energy giver,
yep,
you're an energy taker.
Absolutely.
This is a baseball thing, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Come on, let's jump on the energy bus. Let's
Come on,
go.
Everybody. I'm just taking this moment to please.
There must have
confirm.
been. Is there someone out there that there's someone that's out there?
Coach, multiple.
Okay.
I had multiple
Okay.
students be like, Joey, we have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Fountain or a drain. It seems self-explanatory to me.
There might need to be an X poll that comes out then today with that. Yeah.
I'm still, anyway. Because you're a fountain. You are.
I think again, I this is who I am. You brought it up even prior to this show. Is like baseball coaches are unique because the sport is different, and I tell players this all the time through my good, my bad, and different. I'm gonna be who I am, right? And so just understand that, and there's been other coaches even on our staff, our assistant staff, who are, are saying like, Flo, like when do you get really upset. And I'm like, you're going to find out. You're going to hear it. You're going to hear it soon. But they're trying to even to get me to crack. Right. And it's genuine. I try to be real. There's absolutely times of frustration in life, right? But nonetheless, this game's already so hard.
Yeah.
Why am I going to make it more challenging?
Authenticity.
There we go.
Goes
real world.
Goes a long way.
Absolutely.
Oregon baseball pitching coach Matt Florer. Hey,
thanks for being here.
Thanks
you.
for coming in.
Thank you guys.
Great to get to know you.
Pleasure.
Look forward to being out on the field with you this year.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. Appreciate it.
Great to meet Coach Florer. I got to meet him in person at a football practice a few weeks ago, and it struck me because I saw Waz. I said, "Hey, Waz, how you doing?" And then Coach Florer came up to me, made sure to introduce himself, and it was the same energy that we just experienced in that interview with Joey. I think a really great addition to this new Oregon baseball coaching staff as the Ducks continue to have success under Coach Wazakowski and now under the tutelage of Coach Florer on the pitching side of things. It's been quite a few regionals in a row, postseason appearances for the Ducks on the baseball diamond. Looking to continue that, even with some new blood in the coaching staff. Great to meet Coach Florer, and with some new blood around some of the other coaching staffs here at the University of Oregon. Coach Tracy Joyner in her first season with Oregon Soccer. They had a tough battle against USC on the pitch on Friday. Reactions when we return after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
When life blindsides you with an injury, you need a team that's tough. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people. This season, we're proud to partner with Oregon Athletics. Because whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, we're both determined to do what it takes to win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of Oregon Athletics. Injured? Dial pound law. Morgan & Morgan, 10150 Southwest 6th Avenue, Portland. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
This is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
We just kind of knew from the beginning that we were family.
They showcased a sense of love that I never had before. I mean, he's not only my parent, he's like my best friend.
At the end of the day, it's all been worth it. I wouldn't change a thing about our lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom? She started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
We're back in the Country Financial Studio. It's a Monday. Ryan Milano here with you. Duck Insider brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. It's an off week for Oregon football, at least in terms of playing games. They're still working, getting ready for a top 10 matchup, a college game day featured matchup at Autzen Stadium, 12:30 this Saturday, televised on CBS against Indiana. Oregon Volleyball was in action over the weekend. They got 2 wins. Oregon Soccer on Friday faced up against USC, a very talented USC squad, and Oregon went toe-to-toe, and it looked like for a majority of this match that the Ducks were going to get a point. But then it was a late strike from USC outside of the area on really a perfect ball into the net for the women of Troy, which put them up 1-0, and ultimately that was the final score. And again, Oregon, they played well, they played strong, they played hard, and especially for the first 84 minutes of this match, it looked like, all right, The Ducks are playing some excellent soccer. Then one goal comes in. Ultimately, it is a tight loss against a really talented Big Ten team for the Ducks on the soccer pitch. Coach Joyner, proud of the effort, but also has to finish games. She talked about her team making sure that they finish through the full 90 minutes and finish these efforts, because over the past few games, Oregon has let up some goals in the latter minutes. Coach Joyner, her reactions after a tough loss, 1-0 against USC on Friday. Here's Coach Joyner.
Things certainly looked different from the sideline second half to first half. You were able to create some runs. What did you guys do to kind of open things up?
We just talked about more like defensive shape. I think we were, overworking defensively in the first half, so we had some, difficulty kind of taking advantage of capitalizing on some counterattack. So we just made a couple little adjustments, to hopefully exploit their passing and take advantage. And we were able to intercept quite a few of their passes or win their first touch and generate some more offense. Yeah.
You've, I want to be careful here and get you in trouble, but you've had penalties. Defeat you guys this year. You had a couple times when it looked like maybe you could have got one to go your way. What did you just think of kind of the physicality of your play, the physicality of this match, and not quite getting a call there?
Yeah, we got to be smarter and take advantage of those situations. I think there was definitely opportunity for us to, not say dive by any means, but draw more penalties, and that's just takes gamesmanship and experience at this level. When they've got legs that are outstretched, we got to take advantage of those moments, and we looked a little green, to be fair.
You had a couple one-on-ones on either end, both halves. Just kind of thoughts about players not converted that, or kind of thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's you gotta finish those chances, and typically you only get one or two a game, and we were generating. I think we've had 5 breakaways this game. There's a really great goalkeeper for sure, and they've got a good backline. But yeah, we got to be better in those moments, and that's something that we can continue to keep talking about. But it's up to those players that are in those situations, in those circumstances, to put the ball in the back of the net.
And then just talk about a player that played really well today, Carly Cormack, just in the middle of the park, creating so much, kind of feeling that kind of potential that we all know she had. Thoughts about her and her performance?
Yeah, Carly was unbelievable today. That's the best game that she's played all season, just across the board. We ask so much of her defensively, and typically a 10 attacking mid doesn't have to do quite the work that she does defensively. And to see her be so impactful on both sides of the ball today was really, really special. I was really proud of her. She's really leaning into the adversity and trying to, carry the weight of the team in a lot of ways. And today was a big, I think, win for her personally, and just really proud of her. Yeah, really, really proud of Carly.
Certainly not playing for a tie, but at some point, maybe the mindset comes in, hey, at least we might get a point out of this, and then to give up the goal late, just how deflating was that?
Yeah, it's discouraging. I mean, that is the fourth goal in 3 games that we've given up in the last 10 minutes. So, yeah, and that's, again, I know I've talked about mentality all season, but you got to stay locked on, and you take one play off, and that's what happens. And against a team with this type of attacking threats, you can't afford it. And we gave up a goal. Special player scored a special goal, but that's what they do.
Coach Joyner, I think, proud of the effort for the most part against a talented USC team, but also at this point in the season looking for points in the Big Ten table. Oregon will now go on the road, playing against Ohio State coming up this Thursday, and then on Sunday going up against Penn State. Got to get another timeout when we come back, getting you prepared for the rest of the week on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial.
Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
like that. Don't wear that. Don't think that. I've heard everything you tell yourself every time you felt different. And I want you to know that you can be vulnerable and powerful. That taking care of your mind is taking care of everyone you love and who loves you. Love your mind. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
I want you to know. I said I want you to know right now. You've been good to me, baby. Better than I've been to myself.
We're back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano here with you as on a Monday in Oregon football bye week. It's not a bye week coming up on Saturday as the Ducks will be at Autzen Stadium to play Indiana, another top 10 matchup for Oregon coming up. And back-to-back games that the Ducks will have featured on College Game Day. This one will be in Eugene early morning for the Ducks and the ESPN crew that'll be here to promote the game, pick the game, and obviously a great fan atmosphere that'll be out in front of the tailgate there for ESPN College Game Day. 12:30 kickoff on CBS between Oregon and Indiana. Another top 10 matchup for the Ducks coming up on Saturday. What's going on for the rest of the week here on Duck Insider? Tomorrow, Joey Mack, he'll have H.J. Cohn in studio on Athletic Director Tuesday. Also, Trent Kirsten coming off of back-to-back wins in Big Ten play. A big difference in the fan atmosphere. It made one heck of an impact. I was in the arena on Saturday for that game, for that match against Ohio State, and it was a lively pit crew in Matthew Knight Arena. Great job, pit crew, showing up on Friday against Iowa. Made the difference in a match that really came down to the wire. That was back and forth on Friday. If you weren't there, you missed out. Oregon ended up winning, I think it was 18-16 in extra points in the fifth set. It was a back-and-forth affair. Oregon won it, then got the win against Ohio State. Big victories for Coach Kirsten. More coming throughout Duck Insider through the rest of the week. See you, everybody. Go Ducks. Finger flip.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you.